A win on the road at Molineux, a routine win. I can't remember the last time we said that.
If United didn't win this game, then it would be a sackable offence.
4th and 5th spot in this Premier League is going to be the toughest to call in recent memory. It's such a bonkers league.
It is a travesty. It makes me really sad when I think about it. He's wasted 18 months of his career. If we're seeing the way that Kobbie's being treated, what does this mean for this young talent?
What he's become reliable. Every manager who's ever worked with Mason Mount absolutely adores him.
I think he improves every single team in the Premier League. Every single one of them, because he's better than ODEGAARD and he's better than PALMER.
Hello and welcome back to Inside Devils, the show that keeps you bang up to date with everything inside and out of Old Trafford, and this is sponsored by talkSPORT. Bet, and new customers can get £40 in free bets when they spend £10. The details are on screen right now. A win on the road at Molineux, a routine win. I can't remember the last time we said that, so let's get straight into the proceedings. Let's welcome in Angelina Kelly Ryon Scott-Douglas. I want to see some stats today as well.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
Off the dome. And of course, Crookie, who I'm getting a bit worried. I'll be honest. Like, he hasn't been around us.
I don't think he likes
He's always
us.
down the line. It feels like he's got better company. I don't know. Maybe he can clear that up. Crookie, am I on the right lines there, or are you just busy?
Do you know what? Maybe I'm superstitious because we seem to be picking up better results when I don't come into the
Yeah,
so.
True. Well, last time we spoke, draw against West Ham, but a win last night. Let's start with that. Crookie, look, we played against the team, at the foot of the table, 2 points all year. Hadn't scored a goal in about 8 hours of football, 5 games. But they did score last night, but we made easy work of it in the end. Is that just what we're supposed to do against, possibly one of the Premier League's worst ever teams?
Yeah, I actually said on air on Sunday that if United didn't win this game, then it would be a sackable offence, because I think Wolves may well go on and become the worst team in Premier League history. I think it's very difficult to make a case for them getting past Derby's record low points tally of 11 points. It was almost too easy in the first half. If you look at the number of spurned opportunities, I do think we got a bit complacent and obviously ended up conceding right on the stroke of half time, which was frustrating. But the second half was very good, more clinical, in control, just what you would hope to be doing after a year of Ruben Amorim being in charge. But it was a good win, and the biggest away win for some time.
Yeah, it was. And we go into the top 6, joint 5th. You've got to take all the creeping up the table as you can. That's where we want to be. That's the aim for the season, to get into Europe. Of course, we want to get into the Champions League. But are we on track for like a bit of a merry festive season, like a bit of positivity there? That's with everything being said about the team and the negativity. You're very quick to be like, listen, calm down, and we're in a good spot in the league.
Yeah, no, we are in a good spot. It's really hard with this season because it is so all over the place. I mean, we're still like 3 points off 12th or something. So it's hard to really read into it, isn't it? You need things to kind of level out a little bit more. But no, really happy with that result. I think I predicted 3-0. So had it not been for that goal, I'd have been back on track. But anyway.
Still won by 3.
Still won by 3. Really happy with that. Regarding the position in the table, people keep talking about, it's missed chances. If we'd have beat West Ham, if we'd beat Everton, could have been top 4. At the end of the day, Man United are not a top 4 team yet. And that's okay. There are sides that are better than us, and I'm not looking for us to finish in the top 4. Listen, if someone gives it me, I'm not going to shy away from it.
You're not. So
do I think
your
that
aim isn't that?
No, because I just don't think we're ready. I think it's going to be another situation where you go into the Champions League. I don't think that Manchester United have the infrastructure to really compete in something like that. For me, I'm just focusing, and maybe, I'm not aiming high enough, and some people might criticise, but compared to last season, consistently being in the top half of the table, tick. Being 6th, double tick. That's great, but people are, we could have been in the top 4. I don't think we're going to finish in the top 4. So
do you not? Wow.
No.
I've come down for a bit of positivity there.
Sorry. But
you've got to say you feel that's how you see where we are.
Because I just think that we need to take baby steps here, and we're allowed to get excited. We're allowed to be happy about things. But I just think, just take it as it comes. Like, why we could have been 4th, we could have been 4th. Listen, we're in the top 6. That's great. If you'd have told us this time last year. So for me, I'm just happy with that. I think the game overall. I mean, it is a merry festive season. We've still got we've got Aston Villa to face. Bournemouth have dropped off a little bit, but Newcastle as
Newcastle.
well,
Then
but
we've got Wolves again.
but then we've got Wolves again, and then we start the new year with Leeds and Burnley. So hopefully that should be nice. But yeah, no, it should be good. I just think from that game yesterday, a lot of positives to take away. I know that the XG was high. I would have actually liked a few more goals, and I'll take the 3.
There
but
was enough chances
the amount
there.
of chances, I was, that should have been 6 really.
Yeah.
So if I had any frustration, it was like,
Give me more.
I wanted more goals. Just for certain players, maybe it would have been helpful.
plus 4 goal difference now, so
Hey,
looking
we'll
healthy.
take that.
Yeah.
Ryan, before we get into the game and some more of the positives, and of course bring Crookie back in, just that bit about what Andrew's saying, I just wanted to explore that a little bit more in terms of like, Andrew isn't really seeing us as like, nah, not top 4, not for me. That's not really. Do you see this as a window or corridor of opportunity? That's where we should be going, or is it more like what Andrew says? We need to slow down a little bit and sort of just be happy to stabilise, be in the top 6 and see where we get to, or should it be? Well, no, Man United got 1 game a week. They, are better off for it. They've invested, finished 15th, minimum requirement, get it back into Europe, Ruben.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Angie's line of thinking, I have to say. Top 4 would be unbelievable.
Or top 5, Champions League.
Or top 5, yeah, absolutely. But I actually think 4th and 5th spot in this Premier League is going to be the toughest to call in recent memory. It's such a bonkers league right now, and this is why when I've said it can work for us and it can work against us. It's working for us at the moment, and just to be in amongst it is absolute progress because it's not doom and gloom. Even if we're in the bottom half of the table right now, even though there's not many points in between it,
One
you know
game
what
just changes
you know what the
everything.
narrative would be. It would be completely negative because it's Manchester United. People will be absolutely honest. More people were talking about Man United being 15th and Liverpool winning the league last year. That's just kind of how it is. But I'm happy that we are in amongst it and we're seeing progress. Don't get me wrong, because this Wolves side, like Crookie said, we should be smashing them to pieces, and we did. Which in itself is a step forward, because last year that was not necessarily the case. We were coming up against teams that we should be beating, and we were losing against them.
Wolves beat us home and away last year.
This is what I mean. Now, this is a really, really bad Wolves side. I know we're going to get into the game. They were bad, man. They were really bad. I with no disrespect.
Sorry for them at some point.
Yeah, I did.
Just end it now.
They were second to everything, and they looked like a team that we should be tonking, and we did 4-1. So, but going back to the point, I'm sure we'll be in and amongst it. But I'm pretty sure that the league will settle at some point, and we'll probably end up being, 6th, 7th, 8th, whatever. But I'm happy with that. If we go for top 4, even better. But just progress is all I want to see.
Yeah, just progress. Speaking of progress, Crookie, Mason Mount was given the Man of the Match award last night. A really good performance from him. Another goal from him. He's in form, isn't he, right now?
He is, and I can't remember if it was you guys that I was speaking to last week when I mentioned that if he can stay fit, if he can keep playing well, then I still think he's got a chance of gate crashing England's World Cup.
Yeah,
we
you
would
did
say
say
that.
that. Yeah.
If you're Tommy Tuchel's best mate from the Chelsea days, then I think you've got to look in. Like I said it last week, if Loftus-Cheek has had a call up, then anything's possible.
Yeah, and absolutely. But what he's become reliable. And listen, I don't think there was ever any question about his ability. Every manager who's ever worked with Mason Mount absolutely adores him. Pochettino, Thomas Tuchel, who we've mentioned, Gareth Southgate, and clearly Ruben Amorim as well. But it was his body that was letting him down. I felt so sorry for him. I was at the Manchester derby when he hobbled off inside the first few minutes last season. You could see he was absolutely distraught. So I'm delighted he's got himself back fit. And I think he's technically become a really important player in the system that Ruben Amorim wants to play. And he's one of the few United players, actually, who've got that football intelligence to really operate well in the system. So fair play to him. He's starting to get goals. He's starting to get assists. And hopefully he can stay fit.
We need to have a conversation.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. We need to have a conversation because in this studio, last week, Ryan, yeah?
I knew you were going to do this.
Yes, because when it's you and it's, I had to keep calm, I've had to bring some receipts.
Yeah.
So remember when we was here last week and I said, I know Cunha's coming back, guys, but Mason Mount's he's doing well. I think he needs to keep in the team. Who would you start? Ryan, you was like, nah, put him back on the bench. Cunha's got to be the one. We need to have a conversation.
I don't know.
Well. We need to have a conversation.
What's it, Ali? What do you want to put to me? And I will set it right.
What I want to put to you is this is why Mason Mount, fitness permitting, because he had a knock against West Ham, which is why he couldn't start. But fitness permitting, he, obviously along with Bruno, but in terms of the tens and that, and the forward players, he's one of the most dependable ones. And Cunha's still trying to find the level of consistency. Spurs, he was taken off, not played well. then injured for a couple of games, which was what my point was. I was like, let's keep Mason Mount going here. And now we find ourselves where he's scored more goals than Cunha. He's also Premier League proven. They're the same age.
Yeah.
Like, I just want everything to be equal.
Yeah,
That's what I want.
Listen, I'm with you. And last week I said it with chest as well, by the way.
You was like, no, he's got to go back to the bench. Cunha's the future. Because everyone's doing... Remember the Maverick Cunha and stuff like that? And I just feel like Mason Mount's been... Because he hasn't been fit, it was underwhelming giving him a 7. And but now what we're not doing is just going, in this current moment... He's probably doing a little bit more of like what we thought Cunha might be doing. Now.
Well, what I said last week as well was we've got to take it on a case-by-case basis. So actually, what I think the front three could look like now, there's no doubt about it. Yesterday, Mount and Bruno ran the show. They were fantastic. I actually thought Bruno could have probably got man of the match yesterday. Wasn't disgruntled that Mount got it. He played amazingly well. On a case-by-case basis, I do feel like Cunha should be starting. I feel like he needs to, because we need to develop that chemistry between Cunha and Mbeumo. However, in the absence of Šeško and given Mount's form as well, we can just look at it on a case-by-case basis and say that could be a really like nice, fluid front three. It's fantastic that Mount is doing well. I'm going to add a few caveats here, though. He's in a good run of form at the moment. It's probably the best run of form. It's not been a long run of form. It's like three goals in 4. His fitness has always been an issue, and so that was why my point last week was let's not hang our hat on Mount being in this starting lineup. I think he will always be someone who is in and out of the starting lineup. So therefore, Cunha, who's been bought for the future, needs to be starting these games. But as of right now, you would be silly to drop Mount. I can look at my comments last week and say, hey, look, I probably got it wrong. So I'll hold my hands up there, and I would still start Cunha in Šeško's absence, but I would start Mount and Mbeumo as well. That looks like a nice front three to me.
Well, Joshua Zirkzee lost out his starting place, didn't he? Which we all kind of said this. I mean, I was arguing or going back and forth with a few guys on my podcast saying like the manager just don't. No.
He ain't having him, and that's okay.
Because look, it's just when people get back fit, he drops back down the pecking order.
Yeah.
We know that, right? But Cunha, just to discuss him, he had 8 shots on goal without scoring. Look, he laid on a nice pass for Dalot, which has a goal involvement. You can't paint the picture that he's just anonymous. He got a shot cleared off the line. But how would you assess Matheus Cunha's start to life at Man United? Has it been underwhelming? Has it been about par? Has it exceeded expectations? Where are you?
I think it's been a little bit underwhelming. I mean, he got lucky with that ropey pass. Last night. And I don't know if he might have looked...
Oh, sorry, the one to Bruno.
The one to Bruno.
He passed it behind him and made him fall back for it.
Yeah, I mean,
that
was, maybe he felt like he, regretted not shooting there. So that's why we then saw a lot of shots. Maybe he thought, and also, I'm not saying that this is a reason, but you play in your old side. Sometimes there's certain pressure. Sometimes you might feel more nervous, etc. But I think overall it has been a little bit underwhelming. I think you see the way that Bryan Mbeumo's not been perfect, but we are seeing goals from him.
Because the output's there, right?
Yeah, and we're seeing that. So I think overall he's still been dangerous, and I think he did put Wolves under pressure last night. I think overall we've seen the impact and the energy that he brings. But considering he does have the Premier League experience, it seemed like that. I don't know. Maybe Crookie can say, but it seemed like that Cunha deal was pretty done and dusted quite early on, and so he's had. It's not like he didn't have a pre-season or anything like that. So I have been expecting a little bit more of him, but how many Man United signings have we had that have been complete flops, and we've had our heads in our hands thinking, oh my God, I can't believe we've signed this person. He's not been a flop.
No. I'm not suggesting that.
No, of course not. But for me, in that sense, we've had way worse signings.
Yes.
So for me, I've got total faith that he will come good. It might just be one of those things where it's taking him a little bit longer, and that's okay.
Yeah, is it a time thing, Crookie? And how do you assess Matheus Cunha so far at United? Some people sort of saying he doesn't have a relationship with the left wing back like Ahmad and Mbeumo have, so that's difficult for him.
They're also terrible as well, the options, let's be honest.
Options, so between Dorgu and Dalot is difficult for him. Sometimes he's got to go up front, sometimes he's in the 10, so a little bit of inconsistencies there. Some people sort of saying, well, we bought him because he's ready-made, he's got Premier League experience, and if you're going to replace Garnacho and Rashford, you have to put the numbers on the board.
Yeah, I mean, he's a different type of forward, isn't he, to those two players? Someone who likes to operate in in the number 10 position, ideally, I think, which obviously is the problem when it comes to Mason Mount and Bruno as well. But he's not a winger who's going to hit the byline and get crosses in or cut inside and shoot like Garnacho and Rashford did. I wouldn't say I've been underwhelmed. I agree his numbers could be better, but I look at his performance at Liverpool away from home, and I thought he was absolutely sensational at Anfield. The way that he carried the ball, he was getting kicked from pillar to post. It was almost like there was a rule that you couldn't give a foul for a challenge on Matheus Cunha, but he didn't react to it, and I think they were trying to wind him up that day. So that's been his standout performance. He's not always hit those levels, and obviously he's had some injury issues as well. But I'm not overly concerned, and I know you joke, but I think the issue in terms of relationship with a left back, I'm not sure Patrick Dorgu's got a relationship with his football boots at the time.
Wowza!
Wow, poor Patrick. Man.
Wow,
Poor
that was good.
He's trying.
You know,
man
Ahmad
just
is obviously
constantly
a better player down the right-hand side than Cunha has at the moment on the left. And obviously there's been a lot of talk about central midfielders coming in, maybe another centre-back next summer. I think we need a proper left wing-back as well.
I think a good comparison you can make when it comes to Cunha is you can look at us and say Amorim, and sometimes the football that Amorim plays, you look at it and sometimes it doesn't pass the eye test and it doesn't pass the smell test, and you go, there's question marks there. So that's why it's so difficult sometimes, and it has been in previous shows, to defend him, or some people get negative. Whereas with Cunha, he passes the eye test for me. He looks like he's a really, really good player who's just not really hitting the back of the net, and it looks like the goals will come. So I don't think anybody really is worried about.
It's because the talent. Yeah, it's because the talent is there. My thing was more, let's have an honest assessment of what we've seen and not paint the picture of like, he has to keep playing all the time because he's the best we've got. And no, I'm game by game. Right now, if Mason Mount deserves a shirt, he should play.
Yeah.
If Mbeumo deserves a shirt, he should play. If Cunha needs to go to the bench, that's fine. If Xerxes needs to go... I just want that meritocracy to be there, and not just because we're trying to say he's a new Cantona, the Maverick, and the Wilcox is saying that as well. And
don't force it too much.
Not, because it can affect his game. And I just think we need to reward good performances and reprimand not so good ones. And I just think, like you say, because we've seen what Matheus Cunha can do, we know that it's in there, and we know that it was just that's my frustration actually. I'm like, Matheus, just holding on to it a little bit longer. I know you're better than that. Release it, or take the shot now, or because he's physical. You know he can get past people. You know he can drive with the ball at his feet. He's a quick, powerful runner, and he can score goals in the last 2 seasons.
And I think as well, we do have to factor in this. Obviously, the Christmas period is different, but this one game a week as well. Hopefully, if we can not get knocked out of the FA Cup and have a few more games, I do think that plays a role sometimes as a new player. You're only getting one game a week. If you had more, maybe. If you're kind of more of a momentum player, maybe that could help. But we messed it up against Grimsby, so these are the cards we've been dealt.
Brighton at home in the FA Cup third round is I know we just beat Brighton in a good performance. Cunha was good in that game actually, first goal, but still not easy. You don't want really that first round for us, do you? Let's talk about Bruno Fernandes. Crookie, for you, how underappreciated is Bruno Fernandes for you, or do you even see that he's underappreciated? Because it seems to be so much noise about him from, rival fans, sometimes our own fans, even moaning at him, or he's not this, he's not that. How many times does he get labelled not captain material and this and the other? How do you assess Bruno?
Listen, I'm not worried that rival fans don't like him, because I think that's probably a sign that actually he's a threat to their team. He won't be worried about that either. I think actually he quite relishes the role of pantomime villain.
Yeah, he loves it.
Like Mo Salah, who by all accounts gets quite stung by the criticism from former players in the media. I think Bruno Fernandes has managed to ride that wave. And there aren't too many United fans now, I don't think, questioning his captaincy credentials. He leads by example. He's not a Roy Keane type captain, but then those type of leaders don't really exist in the modern game. I'll go back to Ruud van Nistelrooy's first game in charge last season, Leicester in the League Cup. I took the kids, we waited outside the players' entrance to try and get some autographs and some photos, and almost to a man, the United team, even though they just scored 5 goals, sort of walked out heads bowed, didn't really acknowledge the crowd. Bruno Fernandes spent an hour posing for pictures and signing autographs. That to me is what makes him a Manchester United captain. There are different strands to it. And in terms of his importance to the team, you just look at his numbers. The number of assists he comes up with, the number of goals that he scored. Where would United be without him? Probably last season in the relegation places.
Are we being proved wrong in terms of him playing in midfield, Ange, because he's still getting the numbers, he's still impacting games, but the team maybe not be playing how we want it to be in Ruben's image. How do we assess him actually playing deeper now?
I think it's just a good demonstration of how good a player he is, that he's been able to adapt to this and still be producing numbers and still be playing well. You know, I think that it's a good idea versus the smaller teams, because it gets him on the ball a bit more. Maybe that's why it worked well against Wolves. But we can't fool ourselves. We still need a midfielder that is, and I'm not saying like Bruno's got no legs or anything, but him and Casemiro, it is a slower midfield. Let's all be honest. We do still need an Elliot Anderson, maybe a Conor Gallagher as a on a loan deal or something like that. We still do need that energy. I think it's just more of a testament to how good a player he is, that he's been put into a position that isn't tailored to him, and he's like, no, I'm still going to make this work. I'm still going to be able to produce numbers. But I do feel like, you know, against certain teams like Wolves last night, it does work better than others. But we do still need him.
100% agree with that. Like, Wolves, I'm sorry. This is the game where Bruno's going to
the
get the luxury of the whole
under-21s should have been doing well against him.
This is less about last night and more just Bruno discuss. Because we can't judge it off of last night where, you know, they're shocking, the opposition.
Yeah. Do you know what? To me, to summarise it, I've been thinking about it really. Bruno looks like a world-class 10 playing in centre mid. That is literally what it looks like. You can see he's itching to get up there and contribute, and like so the ball in, like he kept dinking these kind of curved balls into the box, and Wolves just could not handle it. That's the same kind of pass that he did for Mason Mount's tap-in, which was a good finish, to be fair. He looks like a world-class 10 playing in centre midfield, because even yesterday, I thought he was one of the man of the match.
Yeah.
He was giving a ball away at points, and he wasn't tracking certain runners, and in the box he didn't really know what he was doing, etc. So I still think there is a want and a need for a midfielder like Ange says of that profile. I do wonder if you offer me kind of who we take out and who we replace, Bruno alongside somebody, you know, who's got the legs, I think that it could work. I'm not sure, but the fact of the matter remains is Bruno is our best player. And to go even further back to your original point, criminally underrated. And I'll say it every week, and I'll say it from the rooftops. There's this kind of discussion that I see online where it's just like, oh, people who rate Bruno, they don't get ball. I actually think it's the opposite. I think if you're not rating Bruno right now, it really is a testament to your football knowledge, because he is a creative machine. His football intelligence is ridiculous, down to the dummy and down to the feints that he does, the simple passes. He does the simple things really well, and he can do the killer balls amazingly well as well. And to still be in double figures for assists this season from a deep-lying playmaker role is just
What do you say to
unreal.
people who say, but for all of that, what you just said, where Man United, 15th last year, 8th before that, haven't won a Premier League, nowhere near winning the Champions League. What do you say to people that say...
You can't drag him on his own, can he?
You know, these are some of the theories that I hear out there. What about people who say, okay, you can stat pad all you want, but, you know, the team's not great. What about give the ball away all the time and hot potato, you're trying to just get rid of it, there's no patience to your play, etc. You're moaning at people.
Yeah.
What do you say to people who have the other side of the argument that Man United would be a better team without somebody like him?
Well, it would completely depend on who you build the team around, but I think you could quite easily build a team around, which this is all hypothetical now because we've got 2 10s out.
Yeah, it's
a
different
thing but
now,
you could have quite easily built the team around Bruno Fernandes and done well. I genuinely believe that, and I think I still think, and I'm just, before I say this, I do think this. I think he improves every single team in the Premier League. Every single one of them, because he's better than ODEGAARD and he's better than Palmer. So if you're going to chuck the Chelsea and the Arsenal shouts, I think at the moment Foden's in a purple patch of form.
Is he better than them or different to them?
You're
saying better?
Better. I think he's I think he's better. I think you, as a 10, it's your job to create, to score. He can do free kicks. He can do outside the box. He can do inside the box. He can take corners. He can do everything. And like I say, stat pad all you want. If you talk about chances created and this XG and XG that, whatever. But we're talking goals and assists.
job. Yeah, that's the job
That's
description.
not stat padding. That is the definition. That is football. It's goals and assists, and he's putting up them numbers
penalties
every
as well.
year. And penalties.
Last time I checked, Palmer takes his fair share. Last time I checked, you have to score penalties.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So I think he improves. It's like I say, he's better than Odegaard. I think he's better than Palmer. I think on the whole, I think he's been better than Foden.
Because Foden went missing for a whole year, and everyone forgets that Phil Foden was absolutely terrible post the Euros for the whole season, and everyone just gave him so much grace. Other players that drop off Phil Foden. I've never come across someone who gets an easier ride than him in the media, because when he drops off, no one's got anything to say about it. It's absolutely fascinating.
It was astronomical
did win
drop-off.
PFA Player of the Year before.
But then he was terrible.
But then he fell off the year
But
after.
Bruno hasn't had that fall off.
And Bruno is
consistent.
he's had bad games. He's had, I think, the start of last season, he wasn't amazing. But if you're making that comparison with Phil Foden, he's never gone missing for a whole season like he did.
Crookie, it's fiery in here. Are you having that? Bruno Fernandes better than Cole Palmer, better than Odegaard,
Better than Mertz.
better than definitely better than him.
He improves every team in the 10.
Yeah,
I think.
improves every team.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I mean, we haven't seen the best of Florian Wirtz yet, but obviously Cole Palmer, when he's fully fit and firing, I think is potentially a world-class player. Is Bruno world-class, or is he slightly below that bracket? I would suggest he's slightly below that bracket, so I'm not sure I can buy into him being better than Cole Palmer.
I just don't. I just don't know where the Palmer shouts are coming from. I really don't get it.
Palmer's unreal, but again, the level of consistency that Bruno's brought for club and country. Bruno's in the world class bracket because of the numbers he puts up on a consistent. Yeah, I would say, but that's a big shout because Palmer's.
I think,
Palmer's
but look,
top.
I think
but they are different.
Yeah.
if you have to start the sentence with "when Palmer's good," I think we've answered our own question.
There's your clip. Let's get on to another midfielder who's actually a midfielder, Kobby Mainoo, because there was big cheers when he came off the bench from the United away end at Molineux. There's still been reports in the media before this game and sort of at the back end of West Ham. Unused sub against West Ham? Or did he come on for 4 minutes against Palace.
Yeah.
And unused against West
There was
Ham.
definitely one game where he didn't come
it was because Simon Stone was asking him and then he got angry and then went like, Shea Lacey, why am I going to play him? You like Kobby because he's English, etc. But I don't have to play. Yeah, so he was unused and Ugarte came on against West Ham. Comes off the bench last night. Is it a travesty what's happening to Kobby Mainoo, or is it not that deep because this is a young 19, 20-year-old kid, early doors in his career? We're trying to find our feet as a team and we've got to be patient. Where does Ange sit on this?
It is a travesty. It makes me really sad when I think about it, because I saw Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt talking about this. He's wasted 18 months of his career.
So are they right when they're saying if he asks him, if Chelsea rang him, Paul Scholes / Nicky Butt, they're saying off you go, don't stay here just because it's Man United?
I think so. At the end of the day, as much as we might talk about his age, how many players are we seeing now at the age of 20 being absolutely world class? I think that you have to put the age aside. Yes, he's young. Yes, he might still be learning. But you know what? We've seen players, their careers completely capitulate, and you don't know how long your career is going to last. Nothing is promised. And whilst you're playing for Manchester United or not playing, you need those minutes. You have to go out and you have to look after yourself, because if I was Kobby Mainoo, the way I would feel, this guy clearly doesn't back him. The fact that he is reacting with such, so sourly to the media when they're asking him about Kobbie Mainoo.
He was very agitated, wasn't he?
That to me says that there's something going on, because surely would you not say, listen, I get it. This guy has got potential to be world class. I'm working with him on this. We're doing that. But he's not. He's just kind of getting irritated by it. So
he did say it before. He did say a few weeks back, maybe months back, that he deserves to be playing. He's doing everything right in training. Then before that, it was he needs to work on this and this. But he was prickly because I think he has this plan for the team. But the media, he keeps saying, I get it. You're English. He's played for England. You basically telling me that means I have to play him, but I don't see it like that. Is what he's saying.
The numbers don't lie in that the kid is barely even getting a game. I mean, you're playing Wolves. You're playing a makeshift back three. Why wouldn't you play him in that game, for example, which on paper Man United should be winning? And I think we do have to address it. We do have to talk about this issue with Ruben Amorim.
January's coming up as well, and he wants to go.
Well, I guess the thing with January, I wouldn't want him to go to. I wouldn't want him to go permanently.
No,
because
and I don't think he wants
to. As much as we are all on the Ruben Amorim train, that ain't promised. Can you imagine if we sold him to Chelsea and then Amorim gets sacked in April or something? It would be horrendous. I think loaning him to another Premier League club, I mean, you're looking at, let's take a Newcastle or a Crystal Palace. We're actually in contention for them. So we'd be strengthening a side like that. And they could beat us for a Europa League place or something. So, reports of Napoli, Antonio Conte is a good manager playing under somebody like that. I would like to think that there is a road back. But the main issue here that we have to talk about is, as much as we are all positive about Ruben Amorim for the most part, he is not doing enough with the youth players. I mean, you look, I've got a list here, you look at, and you can argue that some of these players were not good enough or they maybe didn't apply themselves correctly, but it is your job to coach players and make them better. You've got Rasmus Højlund, 11 league goals under Ten Hag, 3 under Amorim, fair enough. He's been loaned out. Garnacho didn't fit into the system. He did misbehave. Comments about how he don't regret going to Chelsea, whatever. Kobby Mainoo, you've got Lenny Yoro. He had a poor start. He's improved the end of last season. He's not been amazing this season overall. Patrick Dorgu, I don't even need to say anything. Aiden Heaven, just starting.
Done well last night.
Yeah. Aiden Heaven, sorry.
Yeah.
Aiden Heaven. Sorry, I thought you meant Douglas.
No.
Aiden Heaven, he's been okay. He's only 19. He is getting minutes and he's been all right. But, Benjamin Šeško, fair enough, injured, but hasn't really hit the ground running. Ahmad, maybe a success story, but where's Chido Obe?
Is he ready?
Where's Jack Fletcher? Jack Fletcher got into that Europa League squad for that final squad that he selected.
Yeah.
He put Jack Fletcher in there. So where is he? If he's that good that you've got him in a squad that could be playing in the Europa League final, where is he? Diego Leon, Tyler Fredrickson, where are all these people?
Okay.
And I just think he needs to be doing a bit more. He's got Lacey on the bench. The kid don't get a look in. The kid does not get a look in, and I just think, we are built on youth, and it does worry me, and I have to be honest that it does concern me.
The Shea Lacey one, 3-1 up. Everyone was going mad because he brought on 2 defenders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it. Are we, when the team is really bad, like we are, unstable, unreliable, awful, inconsistent. You talk about environments and what you have to harvest to raise children, to get the kids to an optimum level. Is bringing in a Diego Leon who's still trying to learn English, had a little look at him in the summer where you go, probably not ready yet. Harry Amas, probably not ready. Do we overlook this with our emotions sometimes to be thinking, the team's rubbish, you're better off playing one of the Fletcher twins. The team's rubbish. JJ Gabriel's training with them.
Well,
He'd be better than Cunha and
why have
Kobby.
they completely
Should we do that?
disappeared? Why have they completely and utterly disappeared?
Well, some of them are on the bench.
I talked to Arsenal fans. Some Arsenal fans said if he'd have stayed, he probably would have got games out
Yeah,
under
but that doesn't mean he's ready. That doesn't mean he's the answer. That doesn't mean he's the antidote.
But I want to know what's happening, because he's clearly not developing and getting better, because he's actually regressing.
I think when
Chido
Chido Obi steps into the first team, I don't think he looked good enough.
He didn't look ready
I
at
don't
all.
think he. I hear your point, because we've had this discussion about who is Amorim improving, which I think
That's
is
across everyone.
Oh yeah, exactly. So you can definitely apply that to youth. So I actually see that point, but then I see the other point here that if you put the youth into an environment like this one, it could kill them.
Yeah,
it could kill the momentum.
I just don't know what's happened as to why you think that Fletcher was good enough to be in your Europa League squad.
Do you know why though? It was probably feeling. We had it. I actually do think. The thing about, he even said, we're bringing Crook on this actually. He said, I don't want to be the guy to ruin that legacy, the history.
I'm sorry, but as a coach, you need to do better there. You can't be like, I'm too scared.
Well, no, but he's put him involved. But isn't some of the learning for some of these young players? For Jack Fletcher, if you asked him, tell you what, train with the first team, have a look at what it's about, get on the coach, do training in the San Mehmet Stadium.
Then you get shifted back.
But that actually is part of youth football. That's what actually happens. Sometimes to even make the grade, I know we're not great, but to make the grade, we forget. To make the grade to actually train with the first team is hard. I've spoken to young players that have done it. I've had chats with Ethan Wheatley before. I've had chats with Oh, the young kid who's just gone to Falkirk now. Not Ryan. I can't remember his name. That's really, really bad of me. But I've had chats with him on tour because he scored his first professional goal. And they say, like, man, training with the first team, I'm telling you, man.
But I just don't understand who he's developing. Like, why are we not getting anyone coming through? That's my concern.
Crookie, where do you stand on this? Ange's really concerned at the lack of youth coming through. I'm sort of pushing back, saying...
And the treatment of youth in Kobby Mainoo.
And the treatment of youth... Actually, we didn't even get to...
Yeah,
I agree with the Kobby
yeah.
Mainoo thing. But the treatment of youth in general, he got spiky about Shea Lacey, saying, I've got internationals, I've got seasoned pros who need to come on and make a difference. I want to put Shea Lacey in. Where do you stand on this, Crookie?
I understand Angie's point, and I think if you look at the DNA of Manchester United, it's always been about young players, but there's a fine balance between keeping with those traditions and not just putting players in for its own sake. I did think Jack Fletcher being part of the Europa League squad was probably more about optics than anything else, and I do think Ruben Amorim is conscious of the fact he doesn't want to be the manager to end that run, going back decades of always having an academy player in the squad. I agree with you about Chidobe. I think when he has played, he's not looked like he's ready yet to play regularly in the Premier League. But the Kobby Mainoo situation is a massive bugbear of mine, because this, for me, is a guy who came into England's European Championship team, totally transformed it when they were floundering in midfield. Obviously, Trent started the tournament of the Euros playing in a more advanced role. Conor Gallagher came in for a half, and it was only really when Kobby was selected from the start that there was any kind of balance in that England midfield. So how can you go from being good enough to playing a team that's got to the European Championship finals, all of a sudden not having the trust of your manager at club level? And I didn't like it when Amorim sort of smirked or laughed even when he was asked about why he didn't bring Kobby on against West Ham. It felt to me like he was mocking him. And when he has played, you can see that his confidence is completely shattered.
Yeah, shot. He's got no confidence at the moment. I have noticed that.
But then maybe this is my fear for the future, in that if we're seeing the way that Kobby's being treated, what does this mean for this young talent? Is he doing enough? But I get what you guys are saying as well. It just really concerns me in the Mainoo situation to not even have a league start yet.
It's a head scratcher.
It's not good enough.
It is, and especially because, over Ugarte and getting blood out of a stone, Casemiro, which the turnaround's been great, but we're oozing every last bit.
Yeah, and that narrative of he's up against Bruno. It's like, well,
you've told him he's never going to play them.
Like, what's the point? Like, no one's going to be up against Bruno and play.
Yeah.
So I just find the whole thing, and I can like Ruben Amorim, I can be happy about certain things. But this is the one thing that this guy has completely got wrong. I don't understand how you have Kobby Mainoo, who's got so much talent to be playing for England, but also still be raw in some senses of certain things to learn and to adapt.
Yeah.
You're telling me that you couldn't fit this guy, you couldn't work with this guy and get him playing well across this entire starting 11. I just find it. If you can turn Amad Diallo into a wing back, I don't get how Kobby Mainoo, for me, has the talent and is young enough to be able to adapt and be effective.
How much of this is down to the lack of games?
100%. It will be because of that. It will be because Amorim is learning about the squad as he goes. Don't get me wrong, but I am one to defend Amorim and defend giving him time. I am. I haven't really called for his head, to be honest, but what I will say is, if you were to draw up, especially with Ange, that is a compelling argument, Ange, and I think we're all feeling it and thinking it. If you were to draw up a pros list and a cons list for Amorim,
that's number one.
Mainoo would definitely be in the cons list. The way that he's handled it, and like you say, we've talked about a press conference. It won't just be the lack of air miles that he's getting on the field. It would be what he's hearing. It would be the press conference. It would be the way Amorim's responding to these questions. That'll be affecting his confidence as well. Now, it's sad because a loan move could work. It could work. We didn't want to get there, but it looks like that could. I mean, look at Harry Amas. People were asking him to go into the squad. He's gone out to Wednesday, and he's just got their player of the month. So loans can work for youth players, but it's just sad. Kobby looked like he was about to be the answer, the starter, and that's where we are now. So it goes on a cons list for sure.
I would love nothing more for him to get a loan move in January and go and light the world up and somehow find a way into Thomas Tuchel's squad for the World Cup. I think it's pretty much, it does feel done and dusted, and it pains me for him. But if he could somehow turn that round,
it'd be brilliant.
That would do for him, I'd love to see it. It would be. It feels a little bit impossible, But I'd love that for
He
him.
knows we're rooting for him.
It's just a real big shame, isn't it? Like, because you just know how good he is. But he's stagnated 18 months. You know, everyone's leaving him behind. Elliot Anderson,
It's that 18 months,
Morton,
isn't it? How much has changed?
Like literally, you know, Arch Mason Mount, Arch Jadon Sancho. Like the England team can just leave you behind. When you look at like in Qatar, like Mason Mount was starting in the 10 for England, and now he's like
you look
nowhere
at
near it.
even
Like,
players
it just changes.
a little bit older that have just dropped off. Like, you know, you think back to Raheem Sterling being, you know, in that starting 11, no
Immediate.
questions. Where
Grealish.
is he now?
Grealish is playing well again, still not back in.
I mean, obviously Foden's managed to work his way back in, but he dropped
It
off
can
for a while.
change.
And yeah, you're right.
Watkins
England,
having a little bit of a wobble. See you later.
Yeah, exactly.
Tony had his moment. Right now, not anymore. See that? Like it
It's
passes
so
you
fickle.
by. There's
Yeah.
only a few top, like consistent, world-class performers that are the shoo-ins, and then it changes all around that. Look at Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire now.
And
They
I
used
guess-
to always get in.
And I guess
Changes.
Marcus Rashford has been very lucky to have got a low move
Absolutely.
where he's being used. He's getting
because
the
you
game
got to get
time.
out and got to go play.
Yeah.
This is
So
it.
let's see what happens. Maybe with AFCON happening and a few things needing to be rejigged, potentially
Could be.
we could see something more for Kobbie. The FA Cup's coming up. We have got Brighton at home, which would suggest that he might not make too much changes to the team. To be fair, it's not like we've got Exeter at home or something like that. I think City got someone really easy at home. So we'll see. Let's look ahead though to the next game. Another Monday night game.
Oh, it's killing me. This.
Crooked, these Monday night games, are we entitled to sort of feel hard done by here, you know, especially, you know, fan-wise, because there's a lot of late games, a lot of games after everyone else has
Flex
played.
is barely sleeping. Bless him.
Honestly,
He's up and down that
knackered. I don't
motorway.
think I'm going to make it to this one. Have we got a point?
Yeah, certainly from a spectator perspective, it's tough, isn't it, for the fans who come from all over the country to Old Trafford to get back home again on a Monday night or a Tuesday morning. But this is another fallout from not qualifying for the Champions League
Exactly.
last season, from that Europa League final defeat in Bilbao, because obviously the Champions League teams can't play on a Monday night, and I understand why the television companies are falling over
It's a
themselves
tap-in
to
for
put
them,
United in that prime time slot.
Yeah.
So I think it's something we just got to grin and bear. I guess the only advantage is going last over the course of a weekend. If the teams around you slip up as they did this weekend, you've got a chance to jump up a few positions. But yeah, not ideal.
It's not. Bournemouth, they're going through a little bit of an indifferent spell, Crookie. They're not where they have been. But talk about us owing teams, you know, home and away. Bournemouth last year as well, not
Not
great.
beating them in the last two
We haven't,
seasons.
do you know what I mean? We just can't buy a win against them. But we shouldn't also be thinking this is a formality, because look at the last two games at Old Trafford against West Ham and Everton, respectively.
Yeah, and Bournemouth were much better actually against Bournemouth at the weekend. I was there last midweek. They were really poor against Everton, really flat. Andoni Areola admitted to me afterwards that he was genuinely concerned about that performance. So he'll be happy that they were much improved. But yeah, this could be a good time to play them because the wins have dried up. Antoine Semenyo, I think, is struggling a little bit because he knows he's got this release clause that becomes active in January. And I see a player potentially trying too hard to get himself a move away. Evan Nilsson is struggling for goals as well. Defensively, they're not quite as strong as they were last season because they've lost most of their top players there, with the likes of Dean Howson and Elias Zabani moving on, Kirkes to Liverpool. So, yeah, I'm more confident going into this one probably than I would have been facing them last season.
Yeah, I mean, is it important though, Ryan, to just remember what we are, right? You know, like I said, the last two home games against Everton and West Ham, we went into both of those going, right, home form's good. These are the ones you take care of. Palace away, okay, that's dodgy, I know that. But, you know, because after this as well, you know, it's Villa away, Newcastle United home.
Yeah.
Like, these are tough games.
Yeah, it's getting into a tough period. And also, in recent history, I said this before last season, the home factor is it's a bit paradoxical. It should be boosting the players, you know, it should be the 12th man, and I think it's actually working against us a little bit. I think there's too much pressure at home, which I think that's ridiculous, by the way. I think it's ridiculous, but just from what I'm seeing, that seems to be the case, because those two games, Everton and West Ham, oh my gosh, a disaster class, toothless. It was really bad. And so if you were telling me that we were playing at their place, I'd feel much more confident about this game, which is a sad indictment of where Manchester United are right now. But as Crookie said there, they've got their own problems, Bournemouth, and I think that they're going to rock up not feeling as confident as they were a couple months back as well. So it's going to be an interesting game. To be honest, the more I think about it, it's got 0-0 written over it as well, hasn't it? But we're looking at it and we think there has to be a moment where we build that momentum at home again.
100%.
We have to make it a fortress. That is going to be so critical and important to us. So why not now? And maybe, like you say, depending on how the results go in the weekend, as Crookie said there, it could play into our hands, the fact that it's a Monday night game.
Team-wise, Ange, what changes would you make? I think Amrim said that Man United are talking to the respective countries of Ahmad and Bumo and Mazraoui to ensure that they're there. I think FIFA put out that they have to let them go on the 15th, which would still fall into that remit. Game finishes at 10 p.m.
Yep.
Last time I checked, that's still the 15th.
Yeah.
Off you go. I want to say, touch wood, I think they will be available. I do.
Better have been.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if they're not, Jesus. But so let's assume that they are.
Yeah.
What do you think the team should look like?
Bumo and Ahmad should be starting 100%.
Yep, of course.
I understand the concerns. And every nation wants their best players, and we want the best players on display at AFCON. But they need to be playing for Man United. And Bumo, Mazraoui, you can have a little bit of a rest if he wants. But I think, Brian and Ahmad, we're linking up so well. One last little outing would be lovely. We've had the discussion about Mason Mount. I think he definitely has. He's got to start. He's earned his place. I'm not too sure injury-wise where we will be with the back
So he doesn't
three.
want to commit to De Ligt, which says to me, no. Harry Maguire's thing's been ticking along a while now.
Yeah.
That he's not even back in training, so I can't see him being back.
Yeah,
so you're looking at Leach, who played about 20 minutes last night as well, which is good.
Yeah.
Aiden Heaven was in there. Yoro's been in and out.
Yeah.
And Mazraoui's still fit. So.
I mean, the thing with Yoro is he's definitely a talent. There's something there, but I don't know if maybe his confidence will have taken a little bit of a
I think
hit.
that has happened. You just need a little
So
bit.
I don't know if this is the right game. Aiden Heaven, really like what I've been seeing from him since he's been at the club. Consistently, I've been impressed by him. But obviously he's not got that much experience this season, so you do worry about him. But I think that he's earned a spot in the starting 11. Would like to see Lisandro Martinez. It's a tough one because it's still, like you say, only 20 minutes yesterday. It's probably still not enough to be. He's not ready to play a full 90 yet.
Definitely.
But maybe
I would like to change the centre back, so if he does start, you can take him off after 60 minutes. But
yeah, he loves a sub of a defender. So yeah, and would like to see him in because at the end of the day, he's been out for a very long time, and whatever people's opinions are of him, we need all the players we can get firing on all cylinders. So get him back in.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's lock in the predictions, the favourite part of the show where we usually always get it wrong.
Yeah.
Crookie, Monday night under the lights, Old Trafford. Surely Man United aren't going to mess up another home game, are they?
You'd hope not. And actually, I think this probably suits United better because unlike Everton with their 10 men and to a certain extent West Ham, Bournemouth, I think will come and play on the front foot rather than set up with that low block that a lot of teams coming to Old Trafford seem to. So I think it'll be more open. I think it'll be more entertaining. And I would go for a narrow 2-1 United win.
What you got, Ryan? What you got for me? What you got for me?
Well, you got drop mount first of all. I'm joking. Right, so don't clip
podcast,
that.
You keep talking like that.
Yeah, don't
That's
clip
what
that.
happened. I'll get onto Jamie and say we need to get you out.
Right, okay. Let me think. I think it's going to be. I think they'll probably dispel a few demons. Actually, I'm going to go for. We've only got one clean sheet this season, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go for our second clean sheet this season. That's
Couldn't
what I'm
even get
gonna
that
go
against
for.
Wolves, mate.
I know. I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah.
Very positive over there. What are you saying, Ange?
I kept going with these clean sheets and he's been letting me down, that goalkeeper. So, you know what, maybe if I'd probably go 2-1 with Crookie because maybe then we will keep a clean sheet, which is what I want. So yeah, we'll go 2-1.
2-1. I'm going to go... I just don't trust us, man. Look at us.
I know.
I went up to West Ham going, come on, West Ham are awful. We'll be all right. We're not going to do another Everton. And it was awful.
Oh no. Mount though, maybe start and get a goal or two for you, make you
just
happy.
before Christmas. Yeah, they're going to...
Early Christmas present.
3-2 Man United.
Oh,
Nice.
he's gone for a ding dong.
3-2 Man
Wow.
United.
I'll take it.
But I don't care. Just win.
Yeah.
I don't care what. Please give me a little 1-0 smash and grab. Boring Man United. Whatever.
Yeah.
Please just win the game. So
Yeah.
there you go. We've predicted 3 wins just about. Big thank you to Ange, Ryan Statman Douglas. But you didn't really bring much stats today, actually.
No, I
You
didn't.
really
I didn't bring any stats, to be fair. How about Manchester United? Every time they've gone a goal up, they haven't lost this season.
I knew you were saving it for
There you
last.
go.
Saving it to last. The producer here saying you stole that copyright. And of
100%.
course, Crookie, who still can't be with. Crookie, before you go, when can we actually be with you in real life?
Next week.
I'm hoping next week.
Right.
Oh,
He says hoping.
Hold
See
him
that?
down to it.
He says hoping.
Fingers crossed.
Guys, we'll see you on the next episode next week. Take care. Peace.